every mic's live.
Everything is live.
Somewhere there's an engineer testing something in a patch bay listening.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's also happened, when my producer was away and when I had the ABC show and there was a new person, we went live and she patched, when we weren't going to air. And so she was like, fuck, why are we going to air? Yeah, are we live? Okay, great. I'll just finish this anecdote. And and so I'm in the studio and I'm talking. This is just an anecdote. Hello, we'll get to you in a moment. Just enjoy.
Moments away.
And she's talking, but she is starting to swear to herself. So she's like, fuck. She's getting on the phone. She's going, oh, the fucking thing isn't going to where? She had patched the control booth.
Yes.
To the air.
Excellent.
Instead of the studio.
This is the way.
And everything she was saying was going out to millions of people.
But I love that
across New South Wales.
I love that kind of radio. Look, I always love the radio where you hear the stuff that you're not supposed to hear. I love hearing a door opening or a cup being put down or someone off mic going, oh, it's gone for a hand.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, hang on, something's happening. I always love that part.
Well, this is why we don't cut my show either. We don't edit out people's pauses and stuff. Like sometimes you can hear that everything seems too perfect. Not on my show, Osher. Nothing perfect about uncomfortable conversations.
I love how Josh Zapps, the professional broadcaster that he is, has transitioned seamlessly from just having a cup of tea here with him into broadcaster voice.
Well, welcome to the program. Welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen.
Terrible studio. I've got nowhere to put my cup of tea.
It's my living room.
Nowhere to put my cup of tea. Now I'm just going to have to hold it the whole time.
Pulling back the veil, people. Pulling back the veil. So here we are.
And I've got a pants tent.
With the one... You're reminding me.
Old school.
Hang on. Again, as I say, we'll come to you in a moment, people. We'll come to you in a moment. Do you want to get a little stool? Jono, my loyal producer, is off going to get you a little less.
But then Jono's got nowhere to sit.
No. We've got a thicket of chairs. Don't worry about that.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. Yep, that'll be fine.
Not an ideal table, but it'll do.
Chair. Thank
you. You're telling me with your pant tent.
Yes.
I was once when I was on HuffPost Live, inside the actor's studio. Mm-hmm. Who hosted it?
Oh, I can't remember.
Ben Moore, he looks like.
He was brilliant.
Brilliant guy.
Yeah, and he was
very heavy,
very balding, never gave in.
But yes,
big bit of solar panel up here.
And a large girth.
Tell me, Bradley Cooper.
Exactly, that's right.
When you were doing the duet with Lady Gaga. He's that kind of guy.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm sitting on the couch next to him. We're live on HuffPost Live, and he's leaning back, and the cameras are quite low, and below his belt is just an ocean of crotch. You know, old man crotch? You can kind of make out balls, you can kind of make out a cock somewhere in there, but it's mostly just, I don't mean to be unkind, but let's just say after that segment, they changed the angle of the cameras.
It's important.
At HuffPost to make sure they were a little bit further up.
Ariana was not happy.
She was like, why am I seeing all this? I don't need to see so much of his crotch.
I'm getting distracted.
Welcome to Uncomfortable. What time is it? Are you streaming to you as well? Or we're just streaming
I don't know.
In 1 minute, we're going to stream to Osher's audience as well.
That's exciting.
Isn't it exciting? So this is a little bit of an experiment because as you might notice, if you're watching it on YouTube or on the Substack, it looks pretty. Unlike most of the Substack Lives.
Yeah.
Because the Substack Lives tend to be shot on phones and this is shot on a professional camera. And you might be out thinking to yourself, well, who are you there with, Josh? Come on, introduce your guest, Josh. The fabulous... I feel like Jiminy Glick sitting here, like, oh, you've got such a wonderful book. This new book is fabulous. Or like I'm Kathy Lee Gifford.
He has my favourite line that describes my exact career path. I think he was talking to Jay Moore, I think.
Right.
And he goes, you know what, Jay? You're show business middle class. You're never A, but you're never D. Just in the middle there. And that's exactly what I feel I am.
You and me both, kid. You and me both. Osher Gnsberg, probably the most famous Australian television host, I would say. And you don't laugh. Don't laugh. That's the one thing you can say for yourself.
I appreciate it.
Like, that's a really good thing.
Thank you, mate.
Host of Australian Idol. Yeah. Host of The Voice.
Host of The Voice.
No, not The Voice. No. Host of The Bachelor.
Yes.
Host of The Bachelorette.
Yes.
Host of The Masked Singer.
Bachelor in Paradise.
Host of The Bachelor in Paradise.
Voice of Bondi Rescue.
Voice of Bondi Rescue.
Billions of streams.
Contestant on Dancing with the Stars.
$1 of recompense. No.
Is that right? Wait, do they not give you royalties for Bondi Rescue?
No, that's a one and done. You get
wow. Wow, really? It's just a voiceover.
But it's great. I'm all over the world going,
for free.
Josh runs into the beach. Like this,
and then you don't get paid for it.
It's fine.
That's great.
I got paid at the time.
Yeah, sure.
But
what's that? It's like $800 or something, or $500, and then forever.
I'm a better negotiator than that.
Really?
Yeah, it was $550.
Osher's new book. Oh, a fabulous new book. If you're listening to the audio podcast and this is all a bit confusing, I should show, just to paint a picture, you should also and you can get off your ass and go and watch it on YouTube or Substack, but we're seated on high-top stools in front of a bucolic backdrop of the leafy Sydney suburb.
There's grevillea, there's eucalypt, there's a jacaranda. We've got a Brazilian immigrant there.
There's all... That's right, there's a Venezuelan with a leaf blower. And that's why I'm joking about... The
jacaranda's a Brazilian tree.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
You're the one that went for the gardener job.
That's fine. I'm
already uncomfortable.
I'm going to get cancelled from my own show.
That's the good part about not working in broadcasting.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
You're going to cancel me?
Oh, yeah. So
I've already got no job.
If you don't know Osher was also a radio host.
Yeah.
Like myself. And we had employers, and now Osher is essentially a homeless hobo like I am.
I went from gold Logie nomination to unemployment.
A gold Logie is Australia's highest... it's perceived as Australia's highest entertainment honour.
Yes.
But it's actually a rigged voting system.
I wouldn't say such a thing at all.
No, you wouldn't say that.
No.
Did you win the gold Logie?
I did not win the gold Logie.
Who won the gold Logie?
It was Sonia Kruger who won that gold Logie.
I mean, what are they thinking? What do they think? Lovely lady. Don't get me wrong.
Works very hard.
Beautiful person.
Yeah.
No Osher Gnsberg.
But... It was. This is more indicative, not of my ability, but more indicative of the chasm, the yawning chasm of unknowability that the Australian television industry is falling into. In that nobody's making nothing.
Nobody's making anything, and they're certainly not hiring old Osh.
No, they're not hiring anybody.
Nothing. Or Josh.
No, they're not hiring anybody.
No.
SBS didn't, for the first time in forever at their upfronts, they didn't announce one drama.
It's amazing.
No one's making nothing.
No one's making anything.
No.
The cupboard is bare. Yeah. But you know who's making something?
You.
Old Zepsy.
Yeah.
On the Substacks. Here's another thing to announce to people. If you're just joining us, this is an episode of Zeps Live, which is also an episode of Uncomfortable Conversations. Oh. And if you're listening to the podcast, you can subscribe to the Substack.
Yes.
So you can watch it on YouTube.
You're my first Substack subscriber person.
Is that right?
Yes.
What do you mean?
I was driving through Melbourne.
Me subscribing to you?
Me subscribing to you. I was driving through Melbourne just infuriated at the fading out of the conversation of like, but you just get into the good bit?
Yeah, good.
The coitus interruptus tactic.
Oh, well, that means that John, my producer, found the right spot.
It worked.
I want to make it maximally annoying.
He was just edging me there week after week.
Yep.
And then he got me over the line. Got me over the line.
And that was back when you had to actually subscribe on Substack.
Yeah.
Whereas now you can just click a button on Apple if you want to, but then you don't get all the Substack Live stuff, which I should mention.
Get on it.
Not only get on it, we're about to do something very exciting. On Wednesday. Did you like my pronunciation?
More syllables, the better.
On Wednesday. I also say white.
I do too.
White. Cool whip. On Wednesday, where Jono and I are, we'll start traveling. We're going to start traveling around the world. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we'll be doing on our various voyages is sitting down with people on essentially a live round-the-world marathon.
I love it.
And we got your Sam Harrises, we got your Rich Rolls, we got your Jimmy Carrs, we got your John Cleeses, we got your all kinds of people all over the planet.
There's not enough room on this floor for the names you just dropped.
Back to back.
Holy smokes.
So, if you have...
Can I give you some books to take? Because I really need to get that book to Rich.
We're getting to the book. Oh yeah, I'll tell. But yeah, that's right. Of course, you introduced me to Rich originally, didn't you?
Yeah, he's an amazing guy.
Lovely guy. So hi, Rich, if you're watching on the Substack. He's coming over to the Substack as well.
Yeah, good.
Which is absolutely he should do.
Yeah.
So if you've been thinking about, well, maybe then you're going to start seeing lots of great Substack lives, and although you'll be able to watch them live for free, all of them, you will need to have the Substack app in order to get notifications of when I'm going live, and it'll ping you in the middle of the night, and 2 a.m, you wake up, your phone will go bing, you go, what the?
Because when it just comes upon you to be like, I'm just going to go live now, you don't go, tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern.
Well, I might do that, but isn't part of the appeal. It's just like, oh, hey, look at this.
Drop everything.
Look at this amazing person.
I'm chatting with John Cleese.
I'm suddenly talking to Gina Lollobrigida.
Wow.
Is she still alive?
That'll be a good chat. Either way, it'll be a great chat.
Not answering my emails. So that's going to happen. And if you miss the live one and then you want to watch them back, you'll want to have paid your 5 shekels and 99
eggs,
cents.
cheapskate. You're not going to get it.
Yeah. And I'm getting more shameless about that. Like, people are like, why you keep plugging the thing? I'm like, because this is my fucking job and I'm trying to run a business.
My dear friend,
Jono needs to get paid. He's flying in economy class.
Oh, he doesn't have the Josh Zepps, point hackathon, weird
I'm doing what I can.
Specky hobby that Josh has.
What I'm saying is, if you're faced with a choice of spending $5.99 on your children or spending $5.99 on upgrading Jono from economy class to at least premium economy.
At least.
Then think about your values in life.
Eurobiz? Can we get into Eurobiz?
This is an in-joke. Eurobiz.
It's not really. So it's like Air New Zealand going, oh no, you just get to buy 3 economy seats and call it life flat.
Call it life flat. Yeah, that's right. So Eurobiz is just an economy. It's just economy class.
With all I have. 5 extra degrees.
They don't have it.
Not even a bit more pitch.
There's no more pitch. There's nothing. It's the same seat, the same pitch, the same leg room, the same everything. Triple the price, and you get a free cocktail.
See, this is why the whole idea of making people pay for it, and I love paying some people who make stuff I want to hear.
Okay.
All right, because I think it's it's important to pay people like yourself, because it doesn't happen for free.
No, it doesn't. And I'm not just spending the money on this here Diet Coke that I'm drinking. I'm spending it on reinvesting it back into
aspartame. So Heggie, who makes Mid-Flight Brawl, which as an aficionado of air travel as you are, is one of the greatest podcasts ever.
Is that right?
Yeah, they do 6 episodes a month. 2 are free.
Right.
The other 4 you don't get. Sucked in.
Yeah. Do you get any of it?
You get 2.
No, but of the paid paywalled episodes, they don't even give you the they don't even tease you?
No.
They don't even gently masturbate you up to the point at which...
No. And even twice a year, they have Christmas, and they also have Christmas in July. Twice a year, the subscribers get to write messages of abuse for people who don't subscribe.
Wow.
Who, like, say, for example, I introduced you to the show and you're too cheap to get on their Patreon. I get to go, hey, Josh, you scummy bastard.
Yeah.
Check out, stop spending money on your Diet Coke and start paying the boys.
Amazing. I love it.
It's great.
By the way, also, I just saw a little delivery guy in a high-vis vest come walking by, and he just sort of paused at the window and gazed at us as if to say, is that Osher Gnsberg?
No, that's Josh, sir.
Is that the Osher Gnsberg? There he is. Hi. Hello. He's waving at you now. Okay, thank you. Good man.
He came up.
I like that he also didn't take off his high-vis helmet.
Nah.
When he came up the stairs.
You live atop a mountain.
I know, it's very difficult. It's a big driveway, is what he's saying. Welcome, everybody, to this episode of either Zeps Live or Uncomfortable Conversations, or both. Available on all good streaming platforms, except only on Substack at the moment, live. Osher Gnsberg is with us, and he's written this book. Did I mention the book?
Yes, you did.
I talked about it.
So what now?
But I didn't say what. It's called So What, Now What?
Yeah.
How to Stop Being Stuck and Start Living. It's illustrated by Campbell Walker, a.k.a. Truthless.
He's amazing.
And it's a graphic novel. It's not a novel. It's a graphic non-fiction advice book about mental wellness.
It's the book I wish I had when I wasn't doing very well. I mean, I've known you for a very long time, but
yes,
it's 2025 when we're recording this. 2015, 2014, so 2014, 15, 16 or so. I was doing really poorly.
But you were very successful outwardly.
Oh, yeah. So that's the thing. People who think what's complex mental illness look like, it's a person shouting at imaginary dragons in the street. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes your job required you to shout at imaginary dragons on television.
It can be that. But this is true. That was later, though. And it was a popcorn machine that sang. But they can also look like someone who's holding down a job on live television, or another time it wasn't live, but on television and, doing his job very, very well. But I was on 2 kinds of antipsychotics and an SSRI and an NSRI and, seeing my psychiatrist every week and talking
about NSRI, by the way.
Whatever the opposite of SS. So there's a selective serotonin and then there's a something serotonin.
Okay.
So I was on a lot of meds, putting on a lot of weight because of the meds, because it messes with your insulin. But I wish that I had this book at that time, because it wasn't until I went up and down a bit through my adventures, and it wasn't until right before my son Wolfgang was born. Your kids are a little older than mine, my youngest.
right before Wolf was born, I'd managed to get off all the meds and things were quite good. But as often happens, and I don't know if you or Sean experienced this with the incoming child expectation, but I started to not do very well.
And it was terrible. I did the first 2 years of my, are you talking about before birth?
Yeah, before birth. Yeah.
Before birth, I was fine, but the first 2 years of my kids' lives were the worst 2 years of my life.
Yeah, it's really hard. But as we were getting closer and closer, I found that I was starting to slip, and I didn't want to accept that every day was getting worse than the last, and I knew what was coming. All right, and we were on. It was like the last holiday we could have before Audrey was clear to. Was unable to fly, so we went up to the Whitsundays, an island chain off the coast of Queensland, and she just took one look at me and she goes, "I need you to go see a psychiatrist. I need you to get back on meds." And I know enough to know that when I'm in it, I don't know I'm in it. It's like asking a fish what water is.
Yes.
All right. And so I know to trust her. Like, got it. If you're saying that something's up, something's up. Next day I was at my shrink. That night I was on it.
How do you get your shrink? When I want a therapist, it takes me 6 months.
Well, I emailed him. And I emailed him, and he shot me a script pretty quickly.
The benefits of being a celebrity.
Well, not really. We'd see each other for a long time.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Fair, right.
He was, after that, it was still not getting better.
Yeah.
All right. So the SSRIs, which is garden variety antidepressants.
Yeah.
They don't do
your Prozacs and so on.
Something like that.
Yeah.
They don't do the job. They just kind of loosen the bolts a little bit. And you still have to do the work.
Yeah.
And I'm doing the work, but it wasn't getting better. I was like, fuck me, this is, I don't want to, I know where this is ending up, and I don't want to get back on those drugs again. Because they're great, they work, but the world becomes like blue tack, plasticine, like grey and spongy. It's great if you're not crazy, but it's hard to live a life of joy when you're in that stuff. And so I had heard from someone who... that they had experienced, they were a victim of homicide. Someone very close to them had been murdered in a really terrible, terrible way in a B&E gone wrong. And
a break and enter.
Yes. And they told me about the therapy that they did afterwards. It was someone very close to them. And, how do I manage this? How do I handle this person? I literally saw them that afternoon, and now the house that they were in is just a crime scene, and there's blood and horror everywhere.
Wow.
And this was in like regional Australia, so it was every small town. And they started telling me about this therapy that they went through. I was like, what's that called? So it's experiment therapy. It's like, oh, wow. It's kind of like the last stop before you have to get back on antipsychotics.
Yeah.
And so I went and found this therapist, and she was extraordinary. And she's a very talented woman. And she started taking me through stuff, and we did a bunch of exposure therapy and a bunch of things. And
what did you need exposure to?
It was all the climate stuff. I know you and I have talked about this for a while, but that's the thing that tipped me off the edge of the world, was just this irrational, complete cataclysmic climate anxiety.
Like climate change.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Like the full and unchecked ramifications.
The day after tomorrow.
And I'm the only person that knows about it. And I wanted to run down the street and warn people. And I knew enough to know, if I want to run down the street and warn people, I'm sick.
Yes.
So, and it was a friend of mine actually told me that day, he says, "You're lucky, pal. Crazy people don't know they're crazy. So you need to go to your doctor."
Yeah, right.
You're right. I do, because things were really bad. But as I worked with her more and more, it's really hard work. It's very, very hard work. But the idea is that you are building a resilience to be with this thing that you cannot control, and also have a lovely life and a great time.
Yeah.
And the way I would think about it, I mean, I'm sure I've been at funerals where people are just fucking laughing like crazy, and they just put their father or their son or their brother in the ground. We have the capacity in our heads to feel joy and grief at the same time. It's not one thing only.
Yeah.
But when we're in these states, we can get trapped in thinking, oh no, it can only be this one thing. I do not have any more room for this thing that is bothering me so much. But it's just kind of prizing that apart and learning to be with, okay, here's this terrible thing I can't do anything about. Okay, what's something that I can do? I can take a step towards a life I want to live in accordance with the values that I have, whether they be around family or work or life or, charity or whatever. And slowly over time,
Well, don't give away the whole damn book. I got questions to ask. You summarize the whole book.
That's my job.
There's no point now in reading this terrific book by Osher Gnsberg. So what? Now what?
Get it
just
for yourself.
Gave you the pressy.
Get it for someone you love.
The thing, your point, I like about like being at a funeral and laughing. The like grief and joy being flip sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
My brother, who's a very wise person, always used to say that all emotion. He's a psychologist by training and by profession now. All emotion is arousal plus a cognitive label.
That's very good.
Right? It's like, so not sexual arousal, but physiological arousal. Like it's a heightened state.
I don't know. They can be like,
This
is the like when I used to take the bus to school, there's the bus stiffy. It's got nothing to do with sex.
Right,
it's just like the bus is vibrating in a particular way.
When you're
I'm
14,
15, my testosterone through the roof.
When you're 14, your penis has a mind of its own.
Yeah.
But the point is that like
that's
whether you're crying,
exactly,
whether you're crying, whether you're laughing, like. Yeah. And it comes back to the flatness of the plasticine world of drugs that you were talking about as well. And you make the analogy in the book that the drugs are a bit like when you think about doping cyclists.
And the Tour de France is on right now.
And the Tour de France,
it's apt.
So like, yes, they're going to give you the edge, but you still have to work really hard, right? They just create the space in which you can be Lance Armstrong if you choose to be, but they don't make you Lance Armstrong by themselves. But I do like the idea that if you can create an environment in which you are feeling, in which you're emotionally activated, in which there are things going on and you're sweating and your heart is racing, that can be coded cognitively as either I'm scared, I'm afraid, I'm anxious, I'm delighted, I'm like, despondent, and it's just a sort of flick of the mental switch to go from one to the other.
Yeah.
So, the main thing that I got out of this book is, which resonated the most with me, because I have been fortunate enough not to have the same kind of challenges that you have, is, psychologically, I mean, is the idea that we avoid changing things because they seem so overwhelming to change instead of just taking baby steps to make things better. This is something that plagues me as well. Like allowing the perfect to be the enemy of the good, and like I'll get around to fixing my life.
Yeah.
Just as soon as I have put together this life hacking software,
Josh, it's
all going to be great.
To try and draw a through line to what a lot of your audience is into. It's the reason the left is completely fucked.
Yes.
No. Because we're not taking care of the one-armed, braille reading, people that live in the outer suburb, because they don't, like, for fuck's sake.
Yes.
Just start.
Yeah, start somewhere.
We'll figure it out.
It's fine. It's going to be fine.
Yeah. And that's partly it.
Baby steps.
Driven by this idea that if it's not everything, it's nothing. And it's not true.
Just move a little bit closer.
It's not how life works. It's not how anything works.
And I like your idea that the way to know what direction to go in is by sort of checking in on your own values. But did you always know what your values were?
No.
Because what if you don't know what your values are?
You got to take the time. You got to figure it out.
What does that mean?
You got to sit down and kind of have a think about what it is you care about.
What if there are competing values? What if you want like financial security, but you also want to spend time with your family, and the financial security requires that you not spend time with your family?
And here is the delicate dance that we all do living in a modern capitalist society,
or any society, probably.
Yeah, this is the sacrifices that we make, but it is, am I at work away from my children? It's also, it's also in how you frame it, right? Oh, another fucking day at work. This is fucked. I'm not with the kids right now. It's like, what am I doing? I'm glad I can be here, because doing this means that I can give those kids every opportunity they have. And, your parents, my parents, immigrants, worked very hard. That's just how they, I'm doing this, and the reasoning behind this hard work or what I'm doing, or, for example, in my grandfather's capacity, re-qualifying as a doctor, even though he was an eminent OBGYN, he had to drove buses around Adelaide. He didn't speak English and had to re-qualify. It's like, why is he doing that? Because I'm here to provide for my family.
Where was he, where had he been working? Well, yeah, we're not going to accept a fucking Lithuanian certificate. Well, I don't even read Lithuanian.
They'd come from a German camp as well.
So, oh, man.
Of a refugee camp. They come from a German refugee camp.
No. You're requalifying when you come to
all the kids only spoke German and Lithuanian. It was weird.
One line, the way you start this book is where you talk about life is what happens between expectation and experience.
You like that one?
I like that.
I wrote that, and I'm pretty happy about it. That's why I turned it into a pillowcase in the book.
Yes, that's right. Exactly. It's a catchphrase, but it's a good one. What does it mean?
Life, exactly. That's what it is. That is what life is. Life, as your brother mentioned, that all the world is a stimulus with a cognitive label to it.
Arousal, but that's fine.
Sorry, an arousal. Life is what happens between expectation and experience. So, for example, I expected that I would be, I don't know, like, to be truly honest, like, I expected that I've been pitching a show around to production companies, a game show. I expected that this would at least have some legs and that people would be interested. The experience is that the market in Australia and worldwide actually is so depleted right now that no one's commissioning anything. All right. And so my expectation is we're going to pitch this thing and it's going to be great. We're going to be in 100 territories, license fees, buy the big house, order the Ferrari, we're away. The experience is, mate, it's a great format. It's amazing, but we've got no space for it. And no one here's making anything, but keep coming with your ideas.
Yeah.
My life is what I experienced after that second email.
Yes.
And that is what life is.
Yeah.
Because that email could have been, brilliant, let's go, pilot.
And if it had been, then would you have felt joy or would you have banked it as a normal part of life?
I don't know, definitely joy.
Really?
These days, yes.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Because, I mean, this is the fallacy of being human, which is that it's the hedonic treadmill, so to speak. Like, when reality meets our expectations, we don't delight, which in the way that we should. Yes. We bank it as a normal part of human experience. And then when it fails, and when it falls short, we either beat ourselves up or we think that the world is stupid and we wonder why we're in such a terrible predicament whilst ignoring all of the amazing things that we're taking for granted.
I talk a bit about that in the book. I talk about a couple of things that our brains do that it's important to be aware of. Yeah. And that fallacy is one of them. I don't write about that in the book, but it's definitely one of them.
Well, you talk about gratitude and the fact that, did you have a clean glass of water today? Yes. Did you use a toilet that flushes? Did you not have to worry about whether or not machine gun clad people were going to come and kidnap your family? Yeah. Those are all good things that many people in this world don't have. Yep. And then you have your other protagonist who is the crazy part of your brain saying, like, does that mean that, like, I'm not allowed to feel bad just because there are people who are worse off than me? That doesn't sound very constructive.
The book is based off a conversation I had with the man that got me and helps me stay sober. It's a brilliant guy.
That man is Santa Claus.
Well, he kind of looks like it now. He's got a beard, rides a motorcycle, lives in San Diego. Amazing dude. But he told me that sentence. He told me, like, so what? Now what? Like, I was bitching to him about, I just lost 2 jobs in a day and I'm divorced. I'm paying rent out of my savings, living in America. What the fuck am I doing? He's like, so what? Now what? Like, okay, great. Great. What are you going to do about it? Because it is only in action that we feel any relief, any freedom, anything is in action. If we stay stuck in the pain of the depletion of our experience, what we did not expect to happen, then we're trapped.
But when you say that the only way out is through action, doesn't that contradict your love of mindfulness, of pausing, of noticing, of being intentional, having intentional gratitude?
But that is action.
Being still.
That is action.
Right, but I regard action as busyness. Yeah. If I just cram enough things,
of course you do, because if you stop for a second, you'd be alone with your brain. And
that's
my goodness,
terrible. Oh my! Yes. I mean, I was hearing the other day, Osher. I was like, someone was talking to me about one of those 10-day meditation.
Oh my God!
retreats,
fuck no!
Where you can't talk, you can't read, you can't think, you can't write, you can't do anything. You're wandering around a forest for 10 days. And you can't look anyone in the eye.
No.
Torture. I can't have a shower for more than 3 minutes.
Your car is probably 47 steps from here. I'm going to guarantee you put a podcast on between the front door and the car.
I can't take a shit without a podcast in my ear, Osher. I mean, who would want to really?
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes. But I'm just trying to clarify, because part of the recommendation in your fabulous book, Osher Gnsberg is with us. I'm Josh Zepps.
Love a reset.
See, when you're live,
it's great. People come and go.
It does. It comes naturally to a trained radio
I'm having a cup of tea
don't
tell Josh's husband, but I'm putting my lips on his cup.
Ooh, that is his cup actually. So when you're doing pre-recorded podcasts, obviously you don't need to reset, which is the lingo for welcoming people who have just joined. But then when I was on the radio, every 5 minutes, you're telling people who you're talking to.
5 minutes, your TSL's through the roof.
Oh, yeah. Well, on the ABC it was.
FM breakfast is
it's 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, TSL is time spent listening, another nerdy radio metric. Yeah. But yes, people would listen to my show for long periods of time, 12 minutes at a time. And stuff.
Wow.
Crazy.
Holy smokes.
So yes, resetting. This is Osher. I'm Josh Zepps. If you're coming from Osher's side, you should subscribe to my Substack because we're about to just do a world tour where we sit down on Zepps Live, uncomfortable conversations, and have conversations with people all over the world. If you're coming from my side, you should subscribe to Osher's Substack, on which he talks about things.
You've been on the show a few times.
I've been on it.
It's been great.
Yeah, it's great. It is excellent. And Osher has
I wrote a new book with Cam Walker, who's amazing.
And it's about mental health and how to not.
Well, it's as much a toolkit as it is a book. Do you remember, we're similar age, but there was a time when...
I'm 23 years of age.
That's IMDb years, in case anyone's wondering. There was a time where if you broke up with someone and you're like, oh, someone just throw a copy of Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist at you.
Yes.
Or Who Moved My Cheese or something like that.
Yes.
And you read it and go...
The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
I never got that. I just got the other one.
I got about 14
the little breakup book.
Stephen Covey.
But that one, I wrote this book because it's that version.
You want this to be that.
Yes, because it is that for the person in your life who seems to be doing the same thing over and over and over again, but it's just not getting better.
Yeah.
And they're, maybe it's drinking, maybe it's gambling, maybe it's poor relationships, maybe it's in a job.
It's a very short and easy book because it's got pictures as well.
Yeah.
And so people are going to be like, hang on, Osher, host of Australian Idol, host of The Bachelor, host of The Bachelorette, host of The Bachelor in Paradise.
Thank you for remembering
Not host of The Voice, host of The Masked Singer, contestant on Dancing with the Stars.
Voice of Bondi Rescue.
Voice of Bondi Rescue. I'm going to keep adding...
maybe an award nominated author.
What nominated?
Australian Book Industry Association.
It's like a venereal disease.
I lost to...
Labia nominated?
Maybe in the past. I lost to Boy Swallows Universe.
Oh,
Trent fair enough.
Again.
What a hack. I was up against that guy. Both books about Brisbane in the 80s. Though.
There you go. And so what now? What? So, but you're talking about being in action as a way of getting out of a mental rut.
Yes.
But busying your oneself and turning into a little busy bee who tries to cram their consciousness with as much stuff as possible is one way out of a rut, but it's not as productive.
Oh, I don't think it is. It's just going to keep you running around in circles, giving
so
you the
what do you
feeling
mean by
you've
got to be in action then?
Well, you've got to...
What if the action is sitting down and breathing? That doesn't feel very actiony.
The first, we spoke about earlier, you can't asking a fish what water is. The fish doesn't know what water is.
No.
Stopping and just recognizing that you're in a rut is the first thing you've got to do.
If you ask an octopus what water is, because they're a lot smarter than fish, does the octopus know?
Well, the octopus will probably wait for you to leave the lab and then crawl out of the fish tank and type the answer and then crawl back in and be like, what?
Yeah.
Right, I was here the whole time.
And
you eat me.
Yeah, and then poison you with polonium when you come back in.
Pretty much. They're very clever animals.
Okay.
So it is in action. You've got to first recognize that you're in it. I'm a sober person. I've been sober for over 15 years now. But
me too. You don't have to look at me like that. I can see you looking at me thinking, should I say it? Because maybe Josh is off the wagon.
No. But the first step, if you're in a step-based sobriety program, you're just simply recognizing that it's there. Just recognizing the problem. The first step doesn't involve not drinking.
Yeah.
The first step is just understanding that the problem is there.
Yeah.
You first have to recognize the problem is there if you're going to do anything about it.
Yes. And I also like the fact that you say that you should get curious about your negative thoughts.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting. Don't push them away or they'll get stronger.
Oh, yeah.
Just sit with them and notice them. What do they feel like? Where do they live in your body? If they do they have a color? Do they have a complexion? Like the fears, the catastrophization, whatever it is, the anxiety.
There's a lot of stuff in that came from, I'm sitting here with, I'm old. I've had 3 hip replacements. I've only got 2 hips. I've got hearing aids.
You haven't had a hip replacement, have you?
I've had 3.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You had 3 hip replacements?
Yeah. And the first one didn't go. Well, a 2%. I got osteoarthritis in my 30s. Okay. I got real lucky.
Yeah. In 30s? I thought you were 27.
I know. Internet years. There's a 2% chance of complications. But that's not 0%.
That's not at all 0%.
2% is like one person on a bus.
Do you mean from the hip replacement?
Yeah.
And you do 2% and 2%, 2%, then it's 2 to the power. Pretty soon it's 99%. It's just certain you're going to have
Well, so the first one, I went through a period of about 18 months of like terrible chronic and persistent pain. It was absolutely agonizing. It was horrific. And I went to go see a pain psychologist who was a genius. I won't say, this is not her real name, but she was like maybe 29.
Yeah.
And her name was Myrtle. Like an old lady name,
right.
But on a young lady.
Okay, right. I was wondering why you're
That's
making
not her real
fake
name.
Yeah, but then you're
it was like an old lady name.
But then you're telling us to be impressed by the fake name that you made up for it.
But it was similar, very similar.
The point you made.
Very similar.
Okay. Bertha.
Kind of.
Brigitte.
No, it was Myrtle.
Was it actually Myrtle?
Myrtle is a person I know. Never mind.
Martha.
But she taught me all about that kind of
Gwendolyn.
thing. About, dare someone to just name your kid Kevin. Someone name your kid Clyde.
Beatrice. I'm not going to stop till I get it.
Do it. No.
Okay.
But because I asked her to be a part of the documentary I made about it, and she asked not to be, and so I don't want to say her name.
All right.
But
I can cut it out later.
Part of no, we're live, dickhead. So part of that pain psychology stuff is noticing the sensation, because the real trick with pain psychology is after about 6 months, and this is the thing I did not know about pain as well, I made a documentary about it, your body's done all the healing it's going to do within about 6 months after the injury or the surgery or whatever. 6 months is about it. So after that, the sensations you have are the sensations you have. And they're most likely not causing any further damage, but your brain is reading them as cataclysmic catastrophe.
Right. Yeah.
So a lot of the pain psychology work is rewiring your relationship to those sensations. And a lot of it is just in noticing.
So this brings us back to emotion is arousal plus a cognitive filter, right? So imagine you're at the gym, you're lifting something heavy, it's painful, you're puffed, you're out of breath, you're slightly nauseous. If you woke up in the middle of the night and you felt like that, you would rush to the emergency room.
Yeah.
And it would be horribly uncomfortable, and you'd be terrified, and it would be very painful.
Yeah.
In the gym, it doesn't land as pain. It has a different cognitive label. It's identical physiology, different cognitive label. So were you able to manage the pain by just interrogating it, being curious about it, and noticing it?
Absolutely. And she showed me the difference between, because there's a thing called amplification, and there's it's slipping my mind right now. There's amplification, and there's another
turning the volume down.
No. There's another one where Audrey, my wife, would roll over in bed and just brush the hair on my calf, and it felt like she was at me with a cheese grater in the opening scene from Tenet. Right?
Wow.
And flinching back from your wife who's come over for a cuddle is not great.
Are you sure she wasn't just fucking with you?
Very.
Had a cheese grater?
Very sure, because it was in the dishwasher. But that's not good for your relationship.
No.
But it was just simply the hairs on my hypersensitive. They were hypersensitive. And so I had to reframe and rewire the relationship to those sensations.
Wow.
But that can happen to us similarly. Like, I don't know, if you were, 10 years old and you're crossing the street to go to 23. School. So just when you were, a few years back now,
10 years ago,
you were walking to school with your best friend and a car didn't stop in the kiss and go and just fucking crayoned them down the street.
Yeah.
All right. And just a big smear of entrails and, horrible car.
I saw that when I was about 8.
Well,
it wasn't.
I've seen shit like that too. And it was a red hatchback.
Was it?
And well, say for example, a car was a red hatchback. And so every time you see a red hatchback now, you are in that space. Your body is instantly there. And I know you're 23 now, but here we are 13 years later, you're instantly there again.
Right.
Even though you're so far from the danger.
Yeah.
And so far from that moment. So it's in rewiring.
But when I see a red hatchback, I still shit myself.
Precisely.
Then run away.
And that can happen to people.
Smelly pants.
That can happen to people. It's called state-dependent learning.
Okay.
Is what it's called. And it's one of the tricks our brains do. But this is really important, that we can interrogate that. And the more we avoid red hatchbacks, the scarier they become.
Right.
So similarly, the more I avoid, whatever it might be that I'm not happy about in my life, the worse it gets. And every time it shows up, it's more frightening. And like you mentioned the gym before, you've not trained for a little while. And then you go back. What's that first workout like?
Terrible.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It fucking sucks.
Yeah.
But you stick at it.
Yep.
You start on really little weights. You might have had a PR of 100K deadlift or whatever, 100 kilogram deadlift, and you're back on like a 40 kilogram deadlift. Oh, what the fuck is this? I'm never going to get back.
I do an 8 kilo deadlift. That's great.
That's great. Just as long as you're moving. But over time, your willingness to just keep going in that direction, we have it's hacking our adaptation response, really.
Yes,
which is the most extraordinary thing our bodies can do.
Yeah, the great thing about habits is that although they're hard to break, they're quite easy to reform. They're quite easy to form. Once you just have to do a little bit.
Oh, yeah. My whole life is getting my brain to not do the things that it was doing to destroy me, but I have a brain that will just keep going in loops, setting loops up that are good for me.
How do you do that?
You have to sit down and take the time to understand how to set these things up.
Yeah, but I don't want to sit down and take the time.
But
Can I do that while running around like a headless chicken?
No, you're going to have to stop because otherwise it's going to keep happening. But a lot of this stuff is really complicated, which is why I wanted to... This should have been a 600-page book. But I didn't want it to be that. I wanted it to be something you read it this morning.
I read it this morning. I read it in less than an hour.
Yeah, right.
And I'm not a super fast reader. It was very enjoyable. I just had a coffee and I read
every picture, every illustration. We worked with an eminent ACT psychologist called ACT, Acceptance Commitment Therapy is called ACT. We worked with an eminent ACT psychologist, Julie Grove.
Acceptance Commitment Therapy. Okay.
We worked with an eminent psychologist, and because I wanted to...
Was this Martha?
No, this
Myrtle?
is Julie. Her name's in the book.
Bertha. Gwendolyn.
And so, because I wanted to talk about the thinking mind and the observing mind, and so it was a very interesting email chain going, okay, so I want to talk about the thinking mind and the observing mind, and I'm going to do it through the analogy of a Labrador and a Frisbee.
I like that thing.
That plays.
Yeah. So the thinking mind is the Labrador who's chasing a Frisbee. The observing mind is the part of us that can watch the Labrador chasing the Frisbee.
Going, how great is that?
Yes. Yeah.
But the thinking mind chasing the Frisbee, the Labrador running onto a freeway, if it gets hit, then the observing mind gets hurt as well.
Yes.
But when you're in that moment, you don't notice
You don't notice it. And this will be not unfamiliar to people who are interested in Stoicism, Buddhism, like mindfulness. This is part of the training, right? Which is that there's often a misconception in those practices that what you're trying to do is to quiet down the Labrador and get the Labrador to not chase the Frisbee and like to have a mind like water.
Labs are going to lab, mate. Labs are going to lab.
That's not the point. The point is just to create some distance between your awareness and the insanity of your mind chatter.
Yeah. We have. It's kind of interesting. It's tied into how we evolved. We have three brains, really. We have. I did a podcast, "The Man with Three Brains," which, with apologies to Dr. Hafar. I'll tell you my Merv Griffin story one day.
Okay.
And but yeah, we have three brains. We have this ancient reptilian thing, which unfortunately is way more powerful than the other two, which came later.
Yeah.
So that instant response you feel in your body.
This is like the limbic system.
When you see the red hatchback.
Yeah.
You cannot get in charge. You cannot get in front of that. And the Stoics even talked about this. The Stoics even talked about, when you feel that feeling, you've got about 20 minutes till you can do something rational. Right. Don't pretend that you can get in the front of it. You can't.
Right.
Recognizing that it's there is all you can do, and don't do anything.
This is like when I bought my son his pet snake, and I'm a highly rational person, and I pride myself on not being instinctively, irrationally afraid of things that I have no need to be afraid of.
Yes. And
the snake, as baby snakes are, was quite snappy. And there's no problem. It's not a poisonous snake. It's a python. It doesn't hurt. Its fangs are so tiny that it's less painful than getting a jab at the doctor's office. But when you're holding a snake and it's snapping madly at you and sinking its little fangs, like, Osher, the sweat beads on my scalp, like the cold chill at the bottom of my back.
Be a strong dad, be a strong dad, be a strong dad.
Come on, kid. Let's handle this. Snap.
Say crikey a few times, it works.
I'm gradually using, what did you call it? Exposure therapy, essentially, just by doing it more and more and more, by getting some gloves so that it couldn't, and just getting more familiar with it. But man, that reptile brain, they're the top of the stem of my, like the
game recognizes game, Josh.
It's just like, there is something so hardwired into us to not like snakes.
Well, to not like discomfort. Yeah. That is the other thing. Like, we have this, it's all part of the way that we evolved. And I talk about it in the book that we're sitting here, you and I are physiologically identical to fossils that were found. The earliest ones they found 300,000 years ago. In North Africa, they found these fossils, and we are absolutely identical to those people.
Sure, Homo sapiens.
Same brain, same digestive system, same. But the world is...
They weren't very handsome, though, were they? Or didn't they look a bit...
No, mate, they're from North Africa. They got like...
They're beautiful?
You're way more than you or I.
Right, okay.
Like way more melanin, like hot.
But did they have hair all over their face and stuff?
No.
Did they have
No, they were Homo sapiens. They looked like us.
Okay. They probably had bad breath.
They had the same brain.
Yep.
We have the same brain. We have a brain that has evolved to live in a time where death is around the corner all day long. And we have to understand that when we have these feelings like that snake snapping at you, that's because you are evolved to be like, I could die just going to get water today. All right, because that bloke from over the hill wants the water that I've got. Yeah. Because the most likely person to kill you was another person.
Yes, of course.
Looking for your food, your women, your shelter, whatever.
I'm still worried about that. My neighbours.
Fuck them. Fuck a lot of them.
I see them eyeing my water taps.
Well, we're in a leafy...
I have to perch by the window with my binoculars.
You're in a safe conservative seat here. I don't think they're going to be to us.
It's true, actually.
They're not the kind of people that will come.
Although, no, I think this is a swing seat now. Or is it?
Probably was pretty swinging back in the 70s when that place was built, man.
I'm not sure.
You know, this is a Keys in the Fishbowl kind of suburb,
Anyway, enough about that. I'm currently renting, so I have no allegiance to this neighbourhood. So I'm not going to cop any shit from Osher, who lives in the beachy eastern suburbs of Sydney, the lucrative part of town.
I don't know, man. I signed my mortgage with 4 primetime TV shows on the form, and now I've got none.
Oh, yeah, it's good that.
I'm doing everything I can to try and stay in.
It's isn't it gorgeous, the ups and downs of the entertainment industry?
This is the business we have chosen, man.
You talk about having a gratitude journal in order to specifically note 3 things that you're grateful for that day, so that you can counteract what we were talking about just banking the wins and just ignore, taking the good stuff for granted and then worrying about the bad stuff. Do you still do that? I
don't write down the things I'm thankful for. I ask Wolf and I, when I put my son to bed every night, every other night, we take turns, we always ask each other, what went well today?
Oh, that's nice.
Did you get lucky? As I write in the book, did you get lucky? How did you get lucky today? I'm like, oh, that's lucky. There was a green light today. Like, I was talking to my brother who lives in the States before I came up here today, and I just pulled over down there, and I was running real late before I came here, and I was part of a whole bunch of, maybe the lights up the road. Anyway, there was, just as I got off the phone with my brother, big break in traffic.
There you go.
That's lucky.
Yeah.
I would have had to wait another 5 minutes before I could come up here.
Yeah.
So I put on my blinker, and it's moments like that, as we train ourselves more and more to look for things, we start to see them more and more, and our fundamental experience of the world changes. Because it is, as your brother mentioned, it's all in how we perceive it, and we can be in charge of the automatic perceptions.
And I mean, coming back to your point about life is the difference is the delta, or whatever you say, between expectations and experience.
Yeah.
Isn't part of it, like, we have this thing where it's not just about not noticing that the traffic opened up and we were able to pull into it. It's also that we intentionally set ourselves goals that are always just slightly beyond where we are.
Yeah.
And live constantly disappointed lives as a result of never quite, no matter how. I remember reading an interview with Dave Letterman, who was my most foundational hero when I was about 14.
Yeah.
And I read this piece saying that every single day he feels like a failure going up against, like Jay Leno or whatever it was. I was like, I mean, if you get to be David Letterman and you feel like a failure, then it should be clear to everybody that material success and status is not the solution to not feeling like a failure.
But it's also in how you frame what success looks like. Okay. We talked about the TV awards, the Logie Awards, which are like Australian Emmys.
You mean the one you didn't win?
The one I didn't win.
Right.
And I did a whole podcast about this, I trained myself to lose it because I knew I wasn't going to win.
Right.
So I visualized, so I always get someone up on stage to announce it, and it's usually some legend of the industry, and it was Daryl Summers in my case.
Wow.
And I train myself going through all the other names, because when you lose a TV award, they have the Schadenfreude camera,
of course.
Here.
Yeah, right on you. There's a guy crouched down right next to you, and the little red light goes on. And
I didn't want to go,
smile.
I didn't want even the micro expression to come across my face. And so I did it. And sure enough, it was great. Mm-hmm. But it's okay to set myself a goal of, I would like to win that.
Yeah.
It would be nice to win that.
Yeah.
However, does that mean everyone that goes for example, I always think about the other 9 guys who are lining up against Usain Bolt.
Yeah.
Like if your window of opportunity to train and to eat and to dedicate your life to sprinting is in the same time that Usain Bolt is peaking, you're not going to touch that medal.
And Sonia Kruger was there. So
she's my Usain Bolt.
Win.
But for all those other people that lined up and when the gun went, does that mean that they should have just not tried?
Yeah.
No, fuck you.
Oh, sorry. I mean, no.
Who you become by trying, that's the prize.
Yes.
That's the medal.
Yes.
All right? The moment of the Olympic gold stands for 2 seconds. You're putting it between your teeth for some fucking reason. I don't know why they bought it. But then the next day, someone's doing the same thing for an archery medal and people have forgotten about you.
Yeah.
Unless you're on the cover of a Wheaties box, which is one gymnast, right?
Yeah.
But
or unless you're Sonia Kruger, who we're still talking about.
She's still on telly. She was on Dancing with the Stars.
Osher Gnsberg.
I ended up on a live stream at Substack trying to do independent digital media with Josh Sepps talking about his new book, So What, Now What, collaborating with Truthless, who's an amazing artist. I love him so much.
I'm holding up the book now. So
his YouTube's amazing. Check out Truthless YouTube. It's real good.
Okay, great. And I was saying earlier, because we're perched here on a live stream, we're seated on high-top chairs. There's a leafy environment behind us if you're listening to the audio podcast.
And a lovely grevilla, beautiful grevilla.
Osher was bad-mouthing Brazilians before. I don't know why he was being so racist about them. But anyway, I feel like Jiminy Glick. I feel like, Osher, this is marvelous. What a marvelous book. Tell us about the book.
Well, I'll tell you, there's a tour.
A what?
There's a tour coming.
Oh, there is a tour coming up.
If you think, last time I did a book, I made an audio book, which is you read it out loud.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the concept.
And my wife produced it. It was pretty fun. Trying to make an audio book of a graphic novel, challenge.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Somewhat of a challenge. But we did it. Cam was the other voice, which was really cool.
Did you do it?
And with Cam.
But did he describe what's happening?
Yeah, sometimes.
Did he say, and then we see a yellow character who looks like
there was a bit of a preamble. But Cam's doing the sound design for it, which is very talented. However, last time I did a book, I did a live show where I went around the country and
I remember that.
I play guitar and sang songs. It was a storytelling show.
Yeah.
It was really fun. But for this one, because the main character is a glove,
right?
What I'm going to do, and there's a very steep learning curve, Josh.
Okay.
I am using a phone and a hacked VR headset to live puppet a 3D model of hero Glovey on a screen.
Wait, you're going to be wearing a headset, but they can't see your pretty face?
No, I'll be on stage.
Yeah.
So
are you wearing a headset?
I'll look like I'm in Kraftwerk with all the gear around me. And Cam's going to join me.
Amazing.
And so we're going to perform the book essentially.
Wow.
And I'm testing it right now. It's fucking wild.
Awesome.
People are going to have their heads just explode.
I was hoping you were going to say you'd do like a Masked Singer type thing and just dress up as a giant glove.
No, though Cam did challenge me to do that. He said puppetry. I'm like, yeah, but then how do you hold an hour? Once you walk out there, you're in the thing, and those things aren't very expressive.
No.
Now, how do you hold an hour?
No, that's why like the koalas at the zoo only do 5-minute long shows of sing and dance shows.
It's like great.
Wants to see.
It's great.
Oh, that's going to be great. Well, if you manage to sort out the technical side of things, I mean,
see it. What I did with the first show is I put it on sale before I'd written it.
Yeah.
And that works. So similarly, I'm locking the venues in before I've figured out if I can do it for real. But I can. I'm pretty sure I can.
Viktor Frankl gets a mention in this book.
Yes. It's an extraordinary, if you've not read Man's Search for Meaning, today's the day. It's an incredible book.
Off the back of the point that basically your outward experience has nothing to do with your ability to construct a meaningful life.
Yeah. Well, because at the time of writing it, and it's, unfortunately, there's always going to be something in the world that people are like, how can you possibly be happy when such and such and such and such is happening and such and such? Blah. Okay. You wouldn't say that about the person who's in this much peril. How can you possibly da-da-da-da? It's like, well, a lot of this kind of thinking came from a person who was highly, highly trained in psychotherapy, being put in at that time, most heinous things that humans have ever done to each other
not even at that time. I mean, it remains the most. The Holocaust, I think, still has the number one spot.
It's pretty good.
It's most heinous things people have done to each other.
Pretty fucking horrible that we know of. There was probably some Inquisition shit that was pretty bad.
That's true. Yeah, that could be up there.
As far as on a scale, it was pretty good. It was right up there. Terrible. By good, I mean bad. All right.
And also, we should also just point out, if there's any ambiguity at all, we are opposed to the Holocaust.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't care who knows it. I am 100% against Hitler and Nazism.
I've stood in a synagogue in Prague and seen my relative's name on the wall.
Don't try to outdo me. I mean, I've already said that we don't like the Holocaust.
Well,
so I just want to say that this is the kind of courageous conversations we get on Uncomfortable Conversations, where I don't care who knows it.
I don't care who knows it.
I don't care who knows it.
But so he's this guy who's incredibly trained in how to think about thinking, all right, and finds himself in this situation. He went through 4 concentration camps, and what did he do to stay alive? He just did what he knew how to do, which was observe people. And he noticed the difference between the people that lived and the people that died. And it's an incredible
They were Jews, the ones who died.
Yes, but there was the people that lived.
So his advice is, don't be a Jew. Be an Aryan. If you're an Aryan...
I just want to be clear that I do not agree with whatever George is.
That would be my advice. That would be my advice. If you're in a concentration camp and you wanted to assess the difference between the people who lived and the people who died, I would say be a straight Aryan. That would be my advice to you. If you find yourself,
someone's going to come for you.
If you find yourself in a concentration camp. But what did old Victor? Tell me what old Victor thought.
Well, he wrote this extraordinary. He wrote an incredible book called Man's Search for Meaning. But he noticed there were people who just stopped living. You know, they meager rations, but there was the same rations that other people were able to survive.
And these are not the ones who stopped living because they died. These are the ones who stopped living before they died.
Then they died, yes. Yeah, because they
gave up.
The light went out of their eyes, and that was it. And he talked about what your brother mentioned, but he was the first one to really kind of write it in this incredible context.
I'm pretty sure my brother came first.
Between the stimulus and the response is what we think of it.
Yeah.
All right. And that, no one can take that away from me. So even though I'm in this prison, no one, they can make me wear this thing, they can make me build things, they can make me bury my friends. No one can change how I think about it.
Yep.
And that is an incredible superpower that we as humans have.
Yes. So regardless of what's going on around you, all that matters is what's going on between your ears.
Yeah.
Essentially. Osher Gnsberg is here. He sounds like a sage, sounds like a philosopher, sounds like a psychologist. And that's his new role.
I've been to a few. My psychologist children have great holidays.
I mean, it is good that, so he's got a new book, which is a graphic book called So What Now What? How to Stop Being Stuck and Start Living. Is this available outside of Australia yet?
I've been trying real hard to get it up in the States, but the politics of getting your book.
Yeah.
So if you're a publisher in America, get on board.
Penguin
Roundhouse.
Penguin here.
Get in touch with me. I'm happy to get there.
Last thing I wanted to get your brain on the subject of the book, the analogy of sinking into a hole and trying to dig yourself out of a hole, I liked as well.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate?
This was another fun one with the psychologist that we worked on this book with, because there was a time when I wasn't doing well and I was doing everything I could to try to make it better, but everything I could do was making it worse, and I did not understand why. And it's trying to get you help you understand that by avoiding it, you're actually reducing your ability to deal with it every single time. And the more effort you put into avoiding it, the worse it gets, the deeper you get. It's like that great Simpsons episode where we're sending our love down the well when Sting shows up and like, how are we going to get out of here? I know, we'll dig our way out. And you're just doing that. You know, right. What's the best? Dig up, everybody.
Right.
You know, and
so what does it look like, moving from metaphor to practice to try to dig yourself fruitlessly out of a well? Are you talking about like comfort eating, distraction, like drug use,
eating, porn, alcohol, drugs, anything that's an avoidant behavior, anything that puts something between you and the thing you don't want to be doing right now. And that could be doom scrolling, that could be obsessing about something online that has nothing to do with you. And it's not a healthy place to be.
About something that does have something to do with you.
Well, that's also okay.
Well, we also sometimes do in our line of work.
Sometimes, but there's a point where it's not going to be very productive.
No, and that point is immediately. Usually, if it comes to social media.
Because
are you still on the apps?
As barely as no, like as little as possible. I hate it. because it is a part of having how you get to an audience now.
Yeah.
Is using these things, but trying to get more and more into Substack and into a mailing list, and with the storytelling show that you've done as well, it's just trying to get everything out of Meta's
has
hand.
a great monthly show.
Story Club
in Sydney.
There's a Substack. There's a Substack for that, and if you can't make it to the show, you subscribe. You can watch the stories.
Fabulous. Can they see my story on the
I think it is up
Substack?
there. If not, I'll put it up there.
Put it up. I'd tell a little story up there. Okay, fabulous. Have we covered everything?
We kind of have.
Anything else you want to air your dirty laundry about?
No, there's no dirty laundry. Just this is a book for, like I said, it's a tool. It's a toolkit as much as anything, right? And it's not only for the person that's struggling. It's for the person that cares about someone that can't understand why. Yeah. Why do I keep doing this shit?
But it's also for everybody, I think, in the sense that none of us has a brain like. I don't think there's anybody whose brain is unruffled and like perfectly calibrated to, notice and be gracious about and have gratitude towards all of the good things to be completely unruffled. I mean, this person would be a psychopath if they were just naturally chipper.
You don't accidentally have a six-pack. All right? I have had a six-pack at one point in my life.
You were on the cover of Men's Health at one point.
First vegan ever to do it.
First vegan shirtless on the cover of Men's Health.
With a six-pack.
Showing off those plant-based abs.
I had all chickpeas. For 18 hours, I had a six-pack.
Yeah.
It was crazy amounts of work.
Yeah, and then after the shoot, did you just go and eat a chocolate cake?
Then I got bigger.
Right.
I got even more swollen, and then it stopped. Okay. But you don't accidentally have that kind of rig.
Yeah.
Right? You've got to work really, really hard. Mental health is something we actively have to pursue. We actively pursue physical health. We're in Sydney, it's wintertime, it's cold outside. When I dressed my son for daycare this morning, singlet, t-shirt, jumper. Why, Dad? Because if you get it's raining, wear an umbrella. Why? Because if you get wet and cold, you can get quite sick because your body, we take care that we don't fall into physical health.
Probably not true, but we can leave that.
Well, we try.
There's actually some legitimate question in the medical community about whether being cold makes you likely to get cold.
Okay, well, you're not going to...
It's a virus, so...
Your driveway is incredibly steep and it's full of moss. It's a fucking slip hazard,
It's terrifying.
Man. So we will take great care walking down.
Yes.
Okay? Because we know if we fall, if you're me with a fucking bit of titanium in your hip, it's a bad time.
Do you want me to drive you down the hill?
No, I've got a car.
Okay.
So similarly with our mental health, we actively have to pursue good mental health. It doesn't accidentally happen. We have to pursue it as we do physical health. If we eat right, we try to sleep right. Why do we not also try to think right? And this is, you have to work at it, but by working at it, and sometimes it's really hard. With the climate stuff, for example, I was shooting in Fiji. My wife's from Fiji and we were shooting a show over there. And I sat there, part of the exposure therapy that I had to do, because it was just getting worse and worse and worse. So I'm sitting in the hotel. There's a seawall for the hotel where I'm sitting. And next to me, there's a village right adjacent to the hotel. And you can see where the houses were. All right. The ocean has washed away the foundations of these houses, and some of them are hanging out over water at high tide. And these people have...
You sure those weren't overwater bungalows?
Absolutely.
For the rich people?
Well and truly.
Okay.
And this is in my lifetime. This has happened to these people who have lived there for hundreds and hundreds of years. And so every day I would sit there at high tide and I would sit there for half an hour, being with the horrific feelings in my body every day. And I did that for 6 weeks. And it's that kind of stuff that allows me now to be around and read terrifying articles and go, that is real shit that Greenland's falling to pieces.
Well, I'm glad you've managed to deal with the trauma of sitting on a Fijian resort.
It was, mate, when you're traveling 80 crew, it wasn't a 5-star. It was, when you're driving on the underpass and there's a flight center, like 5 nights for $500 for families of 5. It was that place.
Right, okay.
One of my crew, one of my makeup artist, Carly, she said, oh, it's adult schoolies. It was that. It was like spring break for grown-ups, like just dudes with a sleeve tattoos drinking bourbon and Coke at 9 in the morning while their kids piss in the pool.
Yeah, that's the great
place.
thing about Fiji and Bali. There's a lot of Australians like if you find your right place, then it's basically like just taking a working class suburb and transplanting it into a...
I'm taking 5 days with my kids. Fuck yeah, I'm going.
Yeah,
getting out of this warehouse and then take off this high vis and then go.
That's right. Ladies and gentlepersons, follow Osher Gnsberg.
Please.
If you're coming from Osher's side, follow me. Oh, also, if you've just joined us and you're on the live stream,
Hi.
Hi.
And bye.
And we're about to do well, not we, because Osher's not coming. I and my producer, Jono, are going to do a little trip where we're going to talk to lots and lots of interesting celebrities. Sam Harris and Rich Roll and John Cleese and Jimmy Carr, and we're doing a live show. It's going to be fabulous. This will all be streaming on your Substack.
Out of how many cats is your cat?
Out of how many cats?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, everyone.
Is that a thing?
Everyone.
Okay. You want to tell me about it now? Or you want to tell me about off there?
Is it Jimmy Carr? No, I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah. He had something. Yeah, but what?
8 out of 10 cats.
Out of 10 cats. But like, why would anyone know that?
Oh, man.
I mean,
when you're trying to drop deep cuts of references, you're the one that's interviewing him and you don't know his show. That's
There
fine.
was an obscure British television show that nobody in America and some people in Australia might know, but I don't think was ever televised here.
I tried to get it up.
If there are 3 Brits who are watching this in the wee hours of the morning, you're welcome.
But that's the thing.
Reference about British panther.
When I did the comedy festival, I've done it twice now. If I made a joke and one person laughed, like, it was better than I got fucking a house life. I'm like,
right.
Yes, you and me.
Our in joke, while everybody else streams out of the theatre and asks,
fuck them. It was for that person.
Ask the box office for their money back. So subscribe on Substack if you haven't, and thank you, Osher.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for letting me be here.
The book is called So What, Now What, How to Stop Being Stuck and Start Living.
God, those decades of work you did at HuffPost Live, your bookends are amazing.
Oh, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, we can end this now.
We're not going to forward sell?
No, we're not going to forward sell anything.
Do we wait for the...
No, we just cut off the...